Possibility. Failure.
All right, that was a track called Why Are You, literally those three letters. It's track 4 on Sidney Jake's new EP, Darkness Matter. And we have with us Sidney and the vocalist on the album, Reagan. Sidney, thank you for joining.
Thank you for having us.
Really appreciate you taking the time. And Reagan, it's great to meet you. Thanks for joining us as
well.
Great
to meet you too.
Thank you. All right, cool. So, Sidney, give us a little information. What's going on with this EP?
So, started writing it about 2 years ago, originally without kind of any idea what we were going to do. And it was obviously with the Sunday lunch thing that happened last year, I was put in a position where I was able to do something about it. It's part 1 of 3 parts. So we're just about to go to start writing part 2 now. When we put it all together, it will be a full album, which will then be released on vinyl at a later date. Every single track is very different and on genre base, but also when you put it all together, it has a similar kind of sound. That specific track, we worked with a guy in Uruguay who contacted me and said he doesn't play guitar, but he writes beats. And so I basically recorded two full-length tracks of guitar, sent it to him, and then he basically used one of them, and the other one he just pulled apart, and everything in there, apart from the drum beat, is samples used from the actual guitar. So there's nothing else, just guitar samples.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed this track. I thought it was,
Thank you.
it's really an adventurous listen. Like, I know that there's a lot going on with the loops and the percussion, but behind all of that, there's a lot of really, there's chaotic vocals going on. And one thing I like about Darkness Matter, the EP, there is a track, a title track.
Yeah.
But one thing I like about the EP is that like every song is surprisingly different. The first song opens with a relatively quiet piece that we'll listen to at the end. And then the next song is pretty heavy rockin'. And then the same with the third. So yeah, a lot of variety. But tell us a little about Reagan here. We've not seen her, online, and we've never heard her voice before. So
everyone knows I put an advert out on Instagram or social media saying anyone wants to come work with me, come and work with me. And I had obviously lots of replies. And I said the same thing to every singer. I said, send me something a cappella. Face, I want to see full face singing. No effects, just on your phone, because I wanted to know what I was working with to know then obviously we could progress, rather than someone that was overproduced. And then when you actually get down to it, they can't sing. Reagan sent me a piece, and I really liked it. I gave her a call. We had a quick meeting. I was working on the first track. Now, I said, here's the song. Here's the lyrics. Come back in 4 days and see what you can do with it. Never sort of said, this is where they need to go. This is how it works. So I kind of threw it in deep end, and what she came back with was excellent. How would you see it from your point of view, Reagan?
In the deep end. Definitely in the deep end. I panicked first of all, but I enjoyed it in the end. It was really good. But he sent me the lyrics, and then I added some and sent it back, and we just kept going back and forward until we were both really happy with it. So
excellent.
Well, she was originally supposed to be on one track, and then it was 2 tracks, and then it was 3 tracks, and then we worked really well, so we just carried on working together, to be honest with you.
Was that you that we heard on Why Are You?
Yeah.
Myself, or Reagan?
Reagan.
Both of us, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I heard voices, and I heard a female voice, but it was hard to tell because it sounded like there were definitely samples, spoken samples, so I didn't know if it was Reagan or a sample of another female vocal.
All Reagan. It's all Reagan.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, so I just want to remind everyone we are live right now, and we've got Sidney and Reagan here with us. We'd love to get your questions, so if you heard anything in the music or if you hear anything as we do listen, please feel free to ask anything and leave it in the chat. I am watching the chat scroll by, and I want to thank you all for taking the time to join us live. It's really cool to see you supporting independent, strange music. So there might be some people who are here on the live stream who are like, what's with these people with the masks? And they don't know anything about this Sidney Jake guy. So for the drive-by viewers, this is Sidney's music that we're playing, and we're talking to Sidney. But Sidney, tell us, tell the unfamiliar a little about yourself.
So I'm primarily a guitar teacher. That's kind of, well, I work with Robert Fripp. I'm his guitar student, as you know. And I was asked from Robert and Toyah to work with their Sunday lunch project. But I'm not someone who is interested in having my face in the social media. I've never been on social media. My face isn't anywhere on the internet or anything like that. And so I decided to create kind of a mask, a persona. And I did 1 and then 2 and then 3. And I think I did about 19 in the end. And it just worked really well. People really liked the idea and was fascinated by the fact that it wasn't about my image. It was just about what I was doing, the music, the message I was bringing across. Why do you wear a mask, Reagan? What's your story?
I think along the same lines. I think it follows along with the theme of the music, though, definitely the dark and mysterious theme. That's
Yeah,
also
definitely.
because you were, man. I didn't want to be out there on my own, especially being so new to everything.
Definitely. But it was from day one.
I feel a little out of place for not having a mask on.
You're now fully exposed, and we're kind of
Yeah.
It wasn't about the music. It was about the music. It wasn't about the mask. It wasn't about the face. It was just about, this is the music. This is what we're doing. None of the music videos will have us in. They will all be animated music videos. It's not about us as individuals. It's just about the music that we're creating.
Yeah.
I think that's more important.
Yeah. So I don't know how to pronounce this name. Sian, maybe Sean. Or Sion. Sion Braybrook asks, what's the main influence for the EP? It's so varied. And then John Johnson asks, is that Robert Fripp's voice speaking on Why Are You? So how about those two questions?
So Robert hasn't done, we sat down and we talked about Robert being on the project, and we kind of went backwards and forwards. And I didn't personally, and he didn't want it personally to be about what he's doing. This is my project, and I want it to be about the music that I'm putting on. I'm not using other people to kind of push what I want to do forward. I want it to be about what we're doing and people to listen to it because of what we've done. So no, he isn't on there at all whatsoever. Who knows about part 2? But no, he's definitely not on there at all.
What about
the other question?
What are the main influences for the EP?
I listen. I'll let Reagan talk about it in a minute as well. But I listen to so many different types of music. The idea behind it is the frustration of being trapped, being locked down, as we all were at the time that I was writing as well. But in regards to the music influences, it goes from everything from, obviously, from prog rock. There's a big prog rock background. There's obviously dance in there, things like Prodigy and things like that. You've got, there's an industrial aspect to it, with like things like Nine Inch Nails. But obviously King Crimson. There's such a vast variety of music I listen to. Even, I listen to classical music. So it was just kind of amalgam. Each track was kind of based on a sort of genre that I like to listen to. It was almost like my own personal music journey.
Yeah, and one thing that I think the world in particular appreciated was once Sidney got into Robert and Toyah's life, Robert ended up with a mohawk and wearing started wearing like heavy metal shirts and stuff. So really brought out a different side of Robert. So I feel like you brought a different dynamic than just this guy in a mask who's pretty ripped.
Yeah. But everyone knows that I have lessons weekly with Robert and have done for some time. And these lessons can be absolutely terrifying. Don't get me wrong, but he's very different at home, obviously, than he is to the world, and he is definitely relaxing more, as you've seen as well, and it's definitely bringing that dynamic out in him.
Yeah, absolutely. Dean Arnold, who we just interviewed, I think it was last week, who was a co-producer on the Peter Gabriel Through the Wire project. He's on the chat and he asks, he says, Sidney's dying to show that guitar in detail. May we see it closer? Show it off. And speak so the camera switches to you on Zoom.
So basically, this is an aluminium, so still aluminium, so carved out. It was made by a Japanese company, Evo. It was custom made for Robert, not for me. I'm giving it the once over for him. And we've got, this is quite fun. Just because, really, there's no real reason behind it. Just because, obviously, we've got the sustain kit in there. We've got the MIDI system in the back. But it's quite spectacular. It's got a beautiful sound to it.
So,
this is
in between the pickups, it looks like it's Chinese or Japanese engraved.
Yep.
What about around the rest of the body?
You've got here, and this is because it's obviously aluminium. It was painted, brushed aluminium paint, and then it was carved out. So this is actually etched out of the original piece of aluminium. Same as the writing, but it's a fun piece. We are in talks about getting a Sidney JAK model as well at some point soon. I've also got a company called Protone Pedals. they started a conversation about possibly making a Sidney Jake's signature series pedal, which we're in the early stages of conversation currently, which could be quite fun. But yes, it's a fun guitar to play.
Right on. All right, so we have a world premiere that we're going to share as well. Sidney, you want to set us up and maybe lead into a little more about Reagan and her involvement, and we can ask her some questions when we return.
Yeah, definitely.
So tell us about what we're about to see.
So this is the world exclusive. This is the second video on the second track of the EP. This tells the story after the first track. So at the end of the first track, when you listen to it, you hear the two characters of our story that we're telling have just reached a water area. And this is what happens. They reach the water area. Three post-apocalyptic beings, we'll call them, go to attack them. And then you'll see what happens next.
Right on. All right, I got to do the Zoom thing and share my screen, but tell us a little about Reagan's involvement as well.
So I believe you wrote the lyrics to this, didn't you?
Yeah, I wrote the lyrics to this one, yeah.
You wrote all the lyrics to this piece. And it tells the continuation of the story. When all the tracks are together, it'll tell one big long story, journey of the two people.
And it's called Blue Corpse No.
Yeah, and we'll tell you about how it became Blue Corpse No after we've watched it.
All right, let's take a listen and a watch. And the animation's really cool. So I can't wait to hear what people think of the visuals. Okay, here we go. All right, that was really cool.
The lady at the end, Lillian Reese, she's the artist that does all my art. So she designed my original logo. She designed the T-shirt. She did both videos that we've worked on.
One of my favorite things about independent music is that often musicians are associated with artists, or they'll find a piece of art that inspires them or something like that. It's not, you can tell it's not corporate. It's somebody who's making something because they love it and they're enjoying it. And I really enjoy the artistic style of what we just watched.
I really like the attention to detail. There's nothing worse than when someone draws a guitar and only has 4 strings on it or 5 strings on it, and she's put the effort in to put the amount of screws that are on the back of the plates, the whole lot. She's done that really well. I'm really pleased with it.
Reagan,
and that is the only. Go on.
Go ahead, Sidney.
I was going to say this is the only place you're going to see it for at least the next 2 weeks. It's not released for the 2 weeks.
Awesome. Reagan, I can't believe you weren't headbanging and singing along while we were watching and listening.
I was, but very quietly. Very quietly.
Awesome. Any questions from the viewers would be we'd love to ask. I did see a couple of others roll in. AHH says, I love the comic book storyboard feel this has. Kathy Starkey,
Definitely.
she said, whoa. I don't know if you know Pooh Ninja, but he's notorious. He hangs out everywhere. But he says, why can't I make my fuzz pedals sound awesome like this? And then Finn Bob says, really incredible. Fire emoji, horns. So
that's nice.
Glad everyone's enjoying it.
The track that we've in fact, Reagan, why don't you explain what happened with this track and what it's like working with me and kind of the whole situation you have to sometimes deal with?
It's definitely a challenge in a good way. The music moves at a really fast pace, and you've got to be able to deliver by a deadline, if not a day earlier. But with that song, it was completely different to start. Completely different. We were working on it till about 4, I think, in the morning, and completely there. And I need to wake up at 7 to messages from Sidney, completely changing it. It was pretty to start. Yeah.
I absolutely. It was originally going to be like a blues-based a piece. We did the whole piece, and we finished it twice, and I hated it both times. So that's it. It needs to be darker. It's too fluffy. It's too nice. And the last track on the EP, the very first riff on that was basically what the whole song was like on what this is now called. And it was originally just called Blues Nose, and I was like, that's it. No, we're scrapping it. And the look on my producer when I was like it's done. I was like, I hate it. It's gone. Get rid of it. And just the mortified look that he was like, oh no. Was fun, wasn't it? Yeah,
great fun.
Cool. All right, so we do have a few questions, and then we'll wrap up with the final video. And Sharon Baker, who is our kind moderator, who shows up for all of our streams. Thank you, Sharon. She asks, how did you construct the tracks? And then Kathy Starkey, who has been a long time Make Weird Music volunteer, and I'm very grateful for her. She refers to John Johnson's question about, who says, I think the EP is great and a go-to listen. Are there plans for gigs or live shows down the road, limited or long-term? So how did you construct the tracks and then live performance?
So we constructed the tracks remotely. So I've never physically met Reagan at all. We've never been in the same building, not even the same country, technically.
No.
And my producer in America as well. And we basically, I would record something, send it to you, you then send it back, and then we just go backwards and forwards, and then we'd send it all to the producer, and then we'd sit with the producer and go through it. It took twice as long as it probably could, and if we were all doing it in the same building at the same time.
Yeah.
But it was nice because everyone got to have space away from me because I'm quite intense. So they got to kind of just turn their phone off, so I can't touch. So I want this done, and I want this done, I want this done. But I think it was nice for Reagan as well because she's quite new to doing this, that she was able to kind of have time on her own and do it in the comfort of her own house. Because we weren't allowed to leave our house. We weren't allowed to leave go shopping or anything. So it was all done literally in my front room.
That's great.
On a simple track system.
So are you going to leave your front room? Go out and perform?
Nothing is out off the cards yet. That's the best way I can put it. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing is planned. The idea was originally to have the CD and the vinyl and all that kind of stuff, but obviously vinyl is incredibly hard to come by at the moment. So we've got to wait for that. So I think if we're going to do any sort of touring, etc., I think we might wait till the end of the year, beginning of next year, when part 2, because part 2 will be released October 31st this year. Even though we haven't finished writing yet, but that's when it's going to be released, because it will be. So if we're going to, I don't know. What do you think, Reagan? Is it something you would do?
I would do it, definitely.
Yeah?
I'm up for it, definitely.
Finding the musicians to work with as well would be the fun part, because I'm quite picky. So it's just finding the right musicians that can work with me and how I am, but also be able to play what I want to play the way I want it played. Some of the music on there is quite easy to play. It's not too difficult, but some of it's quite challenging. So who knows? It's not a no. We're going to say that to answer the question.
I like that you two are kind of discussing the idea here live and in front of everyone.
Well, to be honest with me, like we finished what, when did we release the project? 2-3 weeks now? No, 2 weeks. And Reagan's had time to kind of reflect and kind of relax a bit, because it was very intense for the course of like 3 months. It was every single day, every single night. Even my producer had to run away for at least one weekend because it got too much. And so it's just kind of, we've been kind of relaxing. Reagan's been sitting at home writing lyrics. I've been sat in playing, writing riffs and writing lyrics. And then we said a couple of weeks' time, we're going to get back together and then we'll discuss it. But obviously being independent, there's only a few venues that can play now. It's becoming quite difficult. We definitely look at the idea of doing a live stream concert. That's something that would be probably the first thing we'd do. We've spoken about that in detail.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, there are more questions, but Sidney, I'll leave it to you to go back into the chat after this is over and maybe leave some comments and reply. But yeah, everyone can check out Sidney's website, SidneyJake.com. It's right there. And you can find Sidney has a YouTube channel. Reagan's got an Instagram handle, and so does Cindy.
Yeah.
Yep. And Reagan's Instagram is the same as the letters and numbers you see right below her little thumbnail in the upper right. So both of you, thanks so much for taking the time and sharing your creative work with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. It's very much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah. So before we close, I just want to remind people we do have a couple of upcoming streams and some videos coming out. We have on Monday a members only Club Weird chat. So if you are a Club Weird member, it's only $3 a month. I think there's a lot of value that I'm providing behind the scenes for just $3 a month. But so I'd really encourage you to become a member. Underneath the video player here on YouTube, there should be like a join button or something like that. So you can hit join and then join us on our members only live stream on Monday, and the whole Team Weird, Make Weird Music crew will be there. We'll probably be listening to some music and reacting to it, so that'll be cool. Oh, Spike Spikerson, thanks for joining Club Weird. You just did. That's awesome. And then really, this is going to be, I think, everyone who enjoys King Crimson, Robert Fripp, any of this whole genre of King Crimson kind of stuff, you don't want to miss Monday's live stream with Alex Anthony Faida. Robert, his quote for the press release is, "Alex plays my guitar parts better than I do." and it's not a joke. Alex really plays. I've seen Alex in person. He plays Robert's stuff cleaner than anyone on earth, I think, including Robert. And I'm not insulting Robert in any way. I think Robert would agree and would say, yes, Alex is deserving of high praise. So we're going to be listening to his new album, which is releasing today. So check it out on Bandcamp, and then join us on Monday for a live stream interview just like this. And then I am actually working on a new Failure to Fracture video. This one about the right hand and the architecture. So I know people are still into failure to fracture. So stay tuned for that video. I'm trying to finish up the Residents book release video as well. I was editing that this morning. Anyway, there's a whole backlog of stuff. So yeah, if you join Club Weird, you get to you get access to all the unfinished work and full-length interviews and stuff like that. All right, enough blabbing from me. Let me get the let me get the video shared so we can all view it, and then we'll start listening. So Sidney and Reagan, feel free to feel the dead air.
I was talking about a gentleman that you've just said that you've got you're interviewing live. I mean, who have been in talks about doing a collab as well.
That would be really cool. Alex is truly an unbelievable player. I don't know if you've seen him play or really listened in depth.
Robert turned me on to him. We spoke about him probably about 6 weeks ago, and me and him are in backwards and forwards in a conversation about doing a collab at the moment.
Yeah.
It'd be quite fun.
He's astonishing.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, incredible.
Here we go. Let's take a watch of the now video, and then once that's over, the stream's over. So we'd love to hear your comments on the video in the chat. Oh, and Andrew Beals, thank you for joining Club Weird. All right, what a great way to kick off this video. Here we go.
Forever Shine a light on all. Growth begins under your feet. Become the tree strong. Listen, you will see. Even rising stars fall.
Check out more on SidneyJake.com. Oh. Autoplay. I hate that feature. SidneyJake.com. Sidney Jake Official on Instagram. Reagan Myers, I'm going to assume, on Instagram. And then you can purchase it on all of the major networks, and you can stream on all the major networks. Sidney, Reagan, thanks again for joining. Thanks for everyone who joined.
Thank you very much.
All right, cool. Let me end this stream.